Hey, good to see you. Thanks for coming. This is another episode of Wireframe brought to you by Design Systems House. I'm your host, Nine D'Amato, and today we're going to be roasting design. I think that's the name of this title. What the hell is the title of this? I don't remember. We're going to be roasting some designs here, and we're going to bring a friend on the show in a minute. But first, before we do any of that, I have some news, announcements, and things like that that I just want to get out of the way before I dedicate the time to the episode to our guest. The first thing is, which is, of course, most important, buy the goddamn book. Go to mode.place, buy the book. I actually also have a blog post on my personal blog that talks about the process it took for me to write this book here. So something for you to kind of get a chance on. If you're interested. In fact, I got a lot of great engagement about the book and the process. So there's some really interesting things in there that you might be interested in about the process. Maybe you want to write your own book. Maybe I help create something that helps people write books. I don't know. There could be some things in there. Anyway, yes, mode.place. Go get the book. Again, for folks that are outside of the US and the UK, I'm working on it. I have an EPUB that is in progress as a digital copy of the book that is in, again, it's in the works, and then I am preparing to enable worldwide distribution for Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and all that stuff, probably early April. So look out for that. It is coming. Now, speaking of, I guess, near future stuff, tomorrow I'm having surgery. So because of that, I'm going to not have a couple of episodes for a little while, a couple of weeks, just while I recover. So, send good wishes, wherever you find me, I guess, or if you're watching, this in the comments or what have you. I would appreciate that, of course. But as soon as I'm able to be back and making episodes, I will be live and making episodes. But again, I'm going to have some recovery time. So, that's the news. So, all that being said, let's go into the episode and introduce my guest, Matt. Matt, how's it going today? It's great to have you here on the show. Tell the folks at home who you are, what you're doing, and anything else that might be interesting as an introduction.
Pleasure to be here, Donnie. Well, I am Matheus Ramos. I am a product owner. I am a project manager. I work for Cause of a Kind. We make websites and software for cause-back-driven issues. And I'm here on the show because I made my own portfolio website. And I am, again, not a designer. I am not a developer. But I'd love to see what a designer and a developer has to say about my website.
Yes. That's right. We're going to be roasting Matt's sites here today. So Matt, as he mentioned, works for Cause of a Kind. We've had Cause of a Kind CTO Mike on the show here in the studio before, so they work together. And Cause of a Kind is a very close collaborator with me in terms of different things that we work on and different events that we love to be a part of. I was actually with Mike last night. We went to a meetup, the Ruby meetup in the city. And we were just there for, I don't know, hours, just yapping. In fact, it was such a great meetup. I'll tell you what. I know that you weren't able to make it last night, but I was telling the organizer, I'm like, you got to change the name of this meetup because, sure, the first presentation was a Ruby presentation, right? But the second presentation was a designer talking about his process on how he used Claude to create a site. I think that was great information. Not something that I would expect from a Ruby meetup. And then the third one was the organizer explaining how his process is to make presentation slides, not with Ruby. He was talking about, again, a Claude workflow with using Figma and all this kind of stuff. He made this little app that was, I think it was called Conjure. Yeah, Conjure. To conjure up these slides. So I thought all of that was really great, but I would have never have known any of that stuff because I immediately look at artificial Ruby as the name of the meetup and go, oh, they're going to talk about Ruby. I don't know about Ruby. That's not my jam. And I would have immediately dismissed it. So I'm so glad that I went to that thing. And I'm going to look out more for that. In fact, if you're in New York, artificial Ruby, take a peek at it. Okay, even if you're not into Ruby, absolutely take a peek at it. You should do so. So anyway, now that I'm done plugging that, let's go and talk about what should I expect on this. So I haven't seen the site, by the way. So I'm going to ask Matt so far, before I've even seen this thing. What am I expecting here? What are you looking to get out of this? Talk to me.
Yeah. So honestly, I'm expecting nothing, but pure emotion, nothing but unfettered rage.
Oh my.
I'm expecting a genuine opinion. That's what I like to see. I like to see what a user comes and looks at the site for the first time and what they think of my brain, what they think it is I do just from a first look. What this is, a video like me is a work in progress, and a video on a website like me is a work in progress, and I think that's what you can see out of it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let's get it. Let's go ahead and see this website here. Again, I don't even know the URL for this thing, so I'm just going to go ahead and ask Matt, what's the URL?
Is matsramos.com, matsramos.com.
So it's your first name. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And your last name. Okay. .com. Right. So Matheus.
Oh no, it's not my first name, but a nickname. So
Oh,
MATS.
MTS.
MATS.
MATS Ramos.
.com.
.com. Okay. Matt's Ramos. Okay. I think I got it. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and start sharing so he can also see as I roast what's going on here. All right. I got to hit a whole bunch of buttons here. Bear with me, stream. Bear with me. Does that work? There it goes. Okay. It's just taking a while.
Yes. Got it.
Call back here. All right. Where's my... There it goes. Okay. All right. So I want to bring... Let's see here. I want to bring, I think, this over. Yeah. Let's bring this over. I think that's okay. All right. So basically, let's see what we got here. All right. So we have this like shattered glass kind of looking kind of website. They're floating around, which is very interesting. I see that there's a kind of like a this diagonal hatched background that's also back there. And you have these, again, these shards that when you hover them, they kind of fall into place. They do a little bit of a magnetic grab there, which is cool. That's very good. Okay, good. And then this doesn't do anything. Okay, cool. All right, so my first inclination on this, and let me actually bring in some me over here so I could talk about it. So my first inclination on this is that it's different, right? That doesn't mean anything good or bad yet, right? It's different. So that's certainly I think something that needs to be said. I've certainly never seen this kind of motif of this broken kind of unbox like structure to the site. So I think there's something very interesting about that as a unique part, right? So like being an individual, like I say this on the show a lot now, is that all these sites and apps, they all look the same, right? And that's meant mostly because when these apps are being used, they need to meet user expectations, right? So they're meeting user expectations. They're like, I know how to use this. With this, it doesn't meet expectations, right? In terms of usability. But on the flip side, it all depends about who your audience is, right? So your audience in this is not just like, the grocery bagger or the person who's potentially door dashing, or, what I'll call non-technical people, right? Your audience is technical people who can take a look at this and quickly understand what you're trying to convey here, right? So I'm not feeling anything necessarily bad about it being unique in terms of that, right? I think this overall composition is actually really interesting. So I think it's something that definitely you'll get a lot of, I guess, people remembering you, right, from the site, right? So I think that's really good. The thing that I think is a little bit of a challenge here is that there isn't a lot of contrast. Okay, and in fact, I mean, even if I bring this up for the folks, let's see, I think it's this guy, right? Yeah. So I'm bringing up the monitors so that they can see where your face normally is. But in here, I just have it small, and it's like it's so very dark because I have the contrast boosted on this monitor. But you could see nothing in here other than the white text. So the thing about that is that it would be nice to have a little bit more contrast in here. Okay. So what I might consider is just a little bit of color theory to try to give it a little bit more friendliness, right? It's already a little bit, what's it called? A little bit harsh because of the harsh angles, right? And the sharp angles in there. So I would consider maybe making it a little bit more friendly just by color, because it's so dark and so sharp. It almost looks like it's got a like a old school web, almost Flash looking kind of vibe to it, which could be your vibe. Absolutely, absolutely. But that's my initial takes on that. How do you feel about that so far?
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. In fact, one of the things you'll probably see a little further on is I have a Kanban board that kind of explains what I'm working on next, what I'd like to change. One of those is the background. The background I just has it as a work in progress, but I'd like to have a scrolling parallax in the background that definitely differentiates the cards from the background itself.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
Yeah.
contrast is a big thing because you're right. It's a little edgy right now, a little too edgy.
Yeah. Exactly.
The color when you actually hover on, that's something that's that little friendlier red. The white, I think, sticks out a little more. I think it's probably what I'm going to end up changing the color of the shards to, even without the hover state, a little later on.
So red isn't friendly. red's not a friendly color. So that's what I'm getting at is I think there's a lot of again unfriendliness that could be coming out in here, where I would love to see something again more inviting in this, because again I think the composition is very interesting. It's very unique, but I think it's so oh god, what is it, brutalist, right? It's edging on this brutalist feeling for it. And if that's the motif, that's interesting, certainly. But with brutalism, if we're going to go into that direction, there's a couple of things that I would recommend from a typography standpoint. And I would recommend from a typography standpoint anyway. So the thing about what I'm seeing here on this from of a typography standpoint, it is very, very bland. Okay, it's effective. It looks almost like Impact. I'm not sure which font it is that I'm seeing on this, but it kind of looks like Impact, which is just this kind of like bold, straight sans serif font that's in there. And what I see in your name has a little bit of personality in there. So what I think would be really nice, I know you're going to comment on a minute, but I think what would be really nice is to put some, if we're going to go full brutalist, to go full brutalist and have personality in those in that text. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah. So the Impact is definitely part of the work in progress. On the bottom right corner, that name is actually that's illustrated by my fiance. So
Oh, fantastic!
That's why that's the only part that has the personality. The thought process is to have the rest of it updated in that similar font style. With a little bit of imagery on the card itself to kind of show what it is, as if it was spattered from some kind of rook.
Okay. Okay.
A lot of the inspiration for the site is this. He's a Japanese UI designer. His name is Matheus Suto, and that's where a lot of the inspiration for this design comes from.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm unfamiliar with their work, but yeah, the thing that I'll say about that is you have to be careful of when you do illustrations for text, because then there's an accessibility issue that comes in there sometimes. There also ends up becoming an issue where people just want to select text. So like right now, I can't copy and paste your name from this site because it's just an image, right? So if I wanted to copy and paste it and look for you on LinkedIn, right? Because immediately right here, I can't actually tell if you have any links to your LinkedIn from here just yet, right? Maybe a work in process. Let's look at the Kanban board and see what that looks like. Okay. Super. All right. So let's bring this in so people can see that. All right. So here's Matt's Kanban board, and obviously we have a whole bunch of complete stuff over here. So we have the in progress. We have the create shop page, which is cool. I saw there was a link for that over there back there. We have a profanity filter. Add profanity filter to the high scoreboard. Oh, is there a game of some sort here?
There is.
Oh, okay.
There is. Yeah, for the pages that aren't complete, I put a little coming soon on the game page at the high scoreboard. Just
Okay.
for a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then you have the fixed experience scroll on mobile. We'll take a peek at that in a little while. Portuguese translation. Are you Portuguese?
Brazil. Yeah.
Oh, Brazilian. Oh, okay, right. So then, yeah, I guess that's a thing that you could absolutely do, and seems right up your alley. Update parallax. So current parallax scroll is a placeholder updated with looping illustration. Okay, so is that the background that we're seeing?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And then finalize experience content source a quote finalize copy for the experience page homepage illustrations and then contact info is suggested by Robert over here and I see I have a suggest feature. That's you know what. This is super interesting. Okay. So this is super interesting. I think having people visit your website and go, I wish you could do X, right? And then you showing that potentially go through the motions. Now, here's the question I have for you is that does a person know as a ticket goes through these swim lanes as it goes through the swim lanes? Like, is there like a email or how does that work?
Correct. There is email confirmation. They don't want to inundate as they get through.
Right.
But if their ticket gets added to the backlog and then completed, you'll get an email to confirm that, hey, I did this for you.
Okay, so just basically on complete is where you get that.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Now, here's the next question I have for you is that GitHub has a feature like this, right? It has like an issues kind of thing that you can make a Kanban for. What was your thinking about why you wanted to recreate it specifically for your site as opposed to basically saying, hey, here's, the GitHub for my site. This is where you could like submit an issue and, do that. So what was your thinking behind that?
Right. Thinking is I'm a product owner. That is my trade. I'm looking at backlogs all day. So if anyone were to look at my website, they would kind of see the world through how I see it, through this project board. Not everyone who is in this industry knows how to interact with GitHub very well on the product side. But they do interact with a lot of project management tools. So that's why I wanted that on my side and not through GitHub.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, again, it's exactly what I said earlier about knowing your audience, right? If you know your audience, right, then that's the reason that we're making these decisions. So really good. And admittedly, I like the design of what's going on here because it meets my expectations. Right? We were just talking about meeting expectations before about, okay, the homepage is like, whoa, what am I about to get myself into? But then I click backlog here, or Kanban, sorry. I click Kanban, and I'm immediately like, okay, I understand now, right? So there's something interesting about that. And in fact, you know what I'll say is let's go back to, go back here. Okay, I can go back right here. So, what would be really interesting here is when you hover this, imagine you would see a preview of the page you're about to go to, and you click this. Let me just show everybody. You click Kanban off the homepage, and the shards explode off the page, and you're now in the Kanban.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be. I think that would be really cool for this. I think that would be incredible. Just again, because the thing about this is it's simple. It's meant for you to just navigate away from here. That's effectively what this wants you to do, right? You're like, okay, I'm here. I only have 5 fucking choices. You need to choose something, and you don't know necessarily what to choose, but it would be really interesting to give the users a little bit of a peek and be like, ooh, I'm about to go to the Kanban. And then again, that transition that goes from Kanban right to, right to this, with the shards exploding off of it, I think that would be a really great effect for what you're going for. What do you think about that?
That would be neat.
Yeah.
I've thought of so many different interactions on how I can get the shards to go to the next page. Do they scroll off? Do they zoom in into the Kanban and that becomes and that's a good one.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Let's see video. Let's go to video and see what we're doing here. Okay, so we got coming soon.
Yes.
This page is still backlog, but you can wait here if you want. Okay, okay. Click to play. Ah, so this is the game.
This is the game. Right.
Okay. Okay. So, I see. Okay,
So
okay. All right, all right. Let me see here. Hold on a second. Well, first off, I don't like an iframe. I don't like, this is a little bit of a mess. Let me
yeah,
refresh
the
the
iPhone was
page.
the only way I was able to incorporate this.
Okay,
Hopefully
let's
I
see what
can
we got
try
here.
it.
Let's see. Okay,
Yeah,
here we go. Yes, yes. We're gonna watch me play. Okay, yeah. +2. This is nice. I'm
it's
about
something
this. This is
simple.
good.
Yeah. What was really fun is putting in different control schemes. So it's controllable on mobile. If you scroll with your fingers, you can
Mm-hmm.
use the arrow keys, WASD if that's the kind of way you go, or just with the mouse. Just fine.
How about gamepad support? You got gamepad support yet?
Not yet. That would be very fun. That would be the best.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna fail this out now because I could see it going fast.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
this is cool. I really also really love that in terms of a thing that lets people again have some personality on your site, right? It's not just about seeing some content and moving on. You know, it is something that is meant to delight the user and be like, oh, this is kind of fun. I can't wait to come back to it. Maybe I got a high. I mean, the high scores are super great. I think that's really a cool idea. I think there's an opportunity here. I'm going to refresh the page again
Yes.
where when you do a kind of like a click to play, imagine if like this was like a Space Invaders kind of situation instead, or Arkanoid. Actually, it's closer to Arkanoid, where and I'm definitely dating myself a little bit, but effectively you have the paddle on the bottom, the ball goes up. But imagine if the ball was actually meant to take out the words "coming soon," right? You
Yeah.
get the
Yeah.
points in there like that.
Very breakout esque. Yeah.
Yeah, breakout. Yeah, another one. Yeah. So I think that would be really interesting if you wanted to consider updating this at some point. But I know you're working on actually getting videos in here. So what is your thought about the videos? Like, what are you thinking would be shown here as videos? Just cards, or what are you thinking?
That's a good question. That's one of the reasons why it's taking me some time to get to video. Part of me thinks that I might be able to put video inside the photography page,
Mm,
insert them as cards that way, and it'll help me kind of buffer out the photography page, which is essentially a portfolio of all the visual things that I do in my life outside of my work.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Actually, let's take a look at the photography page. Right. Okay. Here we go. Come on. There we go. Really nice. Yeah. This is really nice. Okay, so yeah, we are absolutely getting a much more brutalist look on this. I could see it very clearly about the brutalist look that I'm seeing here. And in fact, I mean, I do really like the accents, the little greebles you have on here, the slideshow situation that you can go previous next. Let's take a peek at that real quick. Oh yeah, really nice. This is the best thing I've seen so far. Absolutely. Yeah, if you were to continue this kind of motif with the rest of the site, I think this is going to look really great. I have really not many notes for this. If I'm going to go ahead and nitpick, here's the nitpick: is that this text here and this button are too close together.
Yep.
That's it. That's the only nitpick I have. Everything else looks really, really good. I love the composition that you have here. I think it's really great. There might be something interesting to do about the framing for the image here. You can see that this is very meta. Obviously, we're talking about the web design, but this is really great. I think, yeah, really, really good. Again, no notes here other than it says PHO here. It says PHO on the top.
Nice.
It probably
It
needs to
does
say
say PhD.
photography, or
Yeah.
it needs to say media. So that's the way that I get around it. Is I call my stuff media so that I could put most of my stuff is videos, but it's also podcasts and other things. But when you put media in there, you can put photos and illustrations and wireframes and all that stuff in there, and it really works out. So really good job on this one. I really enjoy this one, and I think the motif of these lines that shoot in and kind of readjust, I think would be really cool here, right?
Yeah.
You hover over this and boom boom, you get lines that go across, like, oh, that was really interesting or whatever. Like that's another thing that could be maybe a little bit easier than the shard breaking situation that I was showing earlier. But I think that's really good. Let's look at experience again. Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. This scrolls down. Yeah. Really great, really great. A little hard to read on these colors down here.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's got to change for sure.
Yeah, a little bit hard to read on the colors, but layout wise, motion wise, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it is just the contrast situation that you're getting in here is the real thing that I think needs to be addressed. And then what happens with shop? Let's see. Also coming
Top
soon.
is the same thing as
Okay.
coming soon. Yeah,
Yeah.
the only other page we haven't seen is there's a 404.
Oh, 404. Okay, so let's take a look at the 404.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, I have to actually go to 4. Oh, no. Sorry, I put in the wrong thing here. I got to do this / this. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Oh, what are we doing here? We doing drawing? We're drawing. Oh, we're drawing.
It's just a chalkboard. Yeah,
We're
yeah.
drawing. Very good.
Mhm.
Maybe make some more of your own. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's an opportunity here to just bring the game in here, especially after you're done
For sure.
with all of the pages, right? Once you're done with all the pages, then you can just go ahead and bring the game into the 404 page, and kind of like, show that off as, okay, because it's very, very similar to like when Google's page goes down or whatever, you get the dinosaur, right?
Yeah.
So you get the dinosaur situation in there, and you can play the game. So I think, that wasn't too bad, right? I think that was. What are your feelings on the feedback?
Feedback is I'm glad that where my heart is at is it's pretty good. Like it's as an extension of myself, it made me feel pretty good that you enjoyed like the fun. You had fun in the website. I think that's the most important part of it. The fact that I just have to change some things with color theory and you just space things out and make it a little more interesting visually in terms of spacing and color. But other than that, I'm pretty delighted with the feedback.
Yeah, I realized that I didn't do the mobile stuff, so let me actually do that. I'm gonna just do it right over here so we could see. Here, let's see. Okay, so let's bring it over here so I could just show what's happening here. So mobile wise, again, we're seeing shards, which is really cool. And actually, I want to see how they. Okay, so it's just kind of a breakpoint that puts them in there. Cool. And then you get experience. Again, experience looks good. Nothing is in here. Yep, really nice. You have to go back. And then let's look at Kanban for mobile. Yep, super. Yeah, so the mobile experience looks really good in the same kind of vein. I think actually, yeah, the coming soon doesn't have a back button, does it? Oh, it has home on the bottom. Okay, I see that.
It does, but it's hard to see
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I think that's the thing that was throwing me off a little bit was, and actually, let me bring this back here. Was yeah, okay. So basically, the thing that's throwing me off a little bit is that the back button and the home button are in different spots.
Right.
So we need to get that more consistent so that I always know how I can navigate between these pages, right? So that thing would be helpful to keep that in the same spot. But yeah, mobile looks fine. I have nothing to say about that. So yeah, the overall gist here, from my opinion, is in terms of the composition is really good. The knowing your audience from a content perspective also really good, right? It's just the contrast problems that I'm seeing that's in here, right? That I see the brutalist that's on like the experience page and the photography page. I think the way that those are composed is really good, but I think there's something that needs to be done for the contrast, even like just like the red lines that are going across with the photography. If they were there on this homepage and mostly persistent, but maybe like doing a little bit of motion and stuff like that, I think that would bump up the contrast even more, to really help have these stuff, the stuff that's on here pop. I don't like using the word pop necessarily, but that's what we need here because it needs to come out from the background, you know? Now, question for you. How did you build this thing?
So I built this using the help of Claude. I did it with Claude. I ran a payload CMS, so the CMS is entirely customizable without me having to code anything, which is what I wanted. I wanted people to work on this thing, and then when I was done, anyone would be able to edit it. If I wanted to give someone else this as a website, they could make it their website without coding a single thing. As long as someone else to put it, you know.
So this is kind of like meant to be like a template that someone can like take and use for their own website if they wanted to. Is that the idea, or?
Correct. With the thought process of if I can make this for myself, I can make it for somebody else. Not this one in particular, but anyone, any other website that I want to make. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. You said payload CMS is the back behind this, right? Okay.
Correct.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then how long did it take you to make this website?
This website, I managed to spin it up in about a week, and after iteration, it was another week.
Another week. Okay, so effectively a 2-week sprint. 2-week sprint.
Correct. Yeah.
Very good. Cool. Is there any other things that you have thought about that aren't on the Kanban that have been playing around in your head that are just like, ooh, I could, maybe small things, maybe large things, but what's in your head about the future of this thing, or maybe even near future, far future? What are you thinking?
Yeah, if somebody wants to get a hold of me, there is no way they can from the website. There's no contact information, there's no details. And I've been considering whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. I've heard that it's good to be elusive, to be hard to find, because if someone does find you, that means they really wanted to find you. So I'm not sure whether or not I should take the advice of one of the suggestions in the Kanban. And for example, when you're on the homepage, you purposely looked over at every single one of the shards. When you got to my name, you expected something to happen and nothing did.
Right.
Right. I think I'd probably like it to have like a little drawer, maybe a flip up where it pulls down, and then there you'll probably have some links to socials or an email or something to get in contact with me. But I'm considering whether I want to be contacted.
Interesting.
That's up in the air.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, that's a very interesting take. It's a very interesting take. I want to talk about this take. So I'm definitely getting what you're saying about the possibility of if someone really wants to find you, they'll find you, right? So in the state of affairs as it is right now, it is hard to find you. Like, here's the thing. Even the URL, I wasn't expecting, right? I don't, MATS, I don't know that as your name, right?
Right.
So me happening upon that website and even connecting the dots about this being you, I wouldn't necessarily get immediately, right?
Right.
And then the next part is, okay, maybe I ended up on this site, right? It's immediately interesting to me. That's nice. But then you get your name that's down there that I can't even copy and search for, right? So now I have to, make the attempt to actually, type in the name and then search for online and then find your qualifiers that way, right? Now, with the amount of people that are out there, that everyone, again, our thoughts were condensed into 140 characters on Twitter, years ago, and we have no attention span. We have no time for games and stuff like that. All we want to do is surf the web. I mean, do you believe truly that there will be people who go the extra mile to find you? I really am curious.
I think if this is something that truly resonated with them, I think they would try. And I think the proof of that is the fact that someone who I never met before got a hold of it and put it on my Kanban board.
Yeah. That's super interesting. It is super interesting. Yeah, there absolutely is something about a mystery of stuff, right? Sometimes the mystery of a website drums up enough interest and enough buzz for it to be shared around and to want to know, okay, who is this guy, right? As opposed to me, who's literally all over the place, has all the links everywhere, linking them back and forth to things. Buy the goddamn book, right? So all of that stuff is clearly there. And you know that mentality I got from what I used to see with like Dan Mall. Dan Mall, I see his post, or used to at least, constantly flooding my feed. Right? I'm so sick of Dan Mall. I was just like, oh, I've had enough. Right? But it worked because he got lots of people following him, lots of people converting on the things that he was doing, you know, linking here and there and finding him wherever he is. So, like, it's super interesting about how it works for potentially these two different kinds of directions, where either you flood the market with everything that you are, right, so that no one can escape, or you make it so mysterious that people who want to know more will dive in and know more, and it almost becomes like cult classic kind of stuff, which certainly the motif actually goes for, I think. So I think you could absolutely be onto something here. But so now here's the next question, I guess, is that, okay, you know your audience. What do you want your audience to do once they find out who Matt is? What do you want them to do?
That's a good question. I think it depends on who it is. If they find out who Matt is, if they get to my LinkedIn, or if they find my email, if they find Cause of a Kind for that matter, then at that point I think they've earned it. They can reach out. You know, they can contact. Maybe they want me to make a site for them. Maybe they want their advice on something with depending on something that I've done in the past, and they like that. Maybe they've seen some of my video content, some of my work in the past, and they want to talk about it. I think at that point in time, then yeah, you know, you didn't just you went through the hurdles. So
Okay, super. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I guess people are going to interpret basically what you offer, which is, I mean, the experience of photography, the video, and the Kanban that's in here, and say, okay, well, this guy does a couple of different things, you know, and maybe I want to learn more somehow, so I'll reach out to him to be like, okay, well, I saw your photography really looks good, you know, or the Kanban board being something that, you know, is very unique for a website to even have, you know, natively. So yeah, maybe there's something there. I'm gonna poke around in DevTools here, and actually let me share the screen again so you can see how I'm poking. Let's go ahead and hit some buttons over here. Let's see, window, share, and then here. Okay, so I wanted to see these shards.
yeah,
So what we got here, here's a shard. Okay, so what we're dealing with here, it looks like is, oh, okay. Okay, so each one of these is inside of an SVG, and each one of these is an SVG group. Okay, let me actually get over here. Yeah, so each one's a group, and then we have a transform animation that's happening here. Super cool. Okay, and then let's see here. Do you know what like dependencies are in this project? Are you familiar with what dependencies are in here?
I'm not.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Well, first off, we can see that it's a next project. So we got that. Let's see what we got in here. Anything interesting? Never understood why this comes all the way down here. All right. So we got this, and all this stuff that I'm like diving into is obviously in DevTools, so it's not like you know, proprietary stuff that like, oh, he's hacking my website. No, not happening. No, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, so I'm just poking around to files here and seeing if there's anything that sticks out in terms of stuff that I could take a peek at. Let's take a look actually at the. Let's see. What is API media file? Okay, so you got that. We got CSS. Let's see what the CSS. We got two bundles of CSS in here. Lots of CSS. Very good. We're in layer, at layer. Very nice. I'm sure this is some Claude special code in here. That's okay. That's okay. Got supports color mix. Well, everything should support color mix now, so we should be okay. Tailwind, I see it. I see some tailwind in here. Or at least that's what I think the TW is standing for. Yeah, I think so. Using Geist as a font. Which one is Geist? Oh, it's Geist Mono. Okay, so that's the monospace font. Oh, Geist Sans. Okay, Geist Sans. And then Anton. I'm assuming Anton is this, maybe. Because I don't know. I know Geist is a little bit more... Yeah, this is it. This is Anton. Okay. Yeah, because I know Geist as a font being more geometric. So I'm assuming, like in the experience thing here, this looks like Geist Mono for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I could see that. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now let's look in the head. See if there's anything in the head that I could take a peek at. Yeah, this is the next site. Got your meta tags, Twitter. Yep. What's the script font? Okay. Yep. Oh, is there a theme switcher on here?
There is. I believe there is a theme switcher on here.
Oh. Let's see. So, if I go to prefers color scheme, let's see what happens. No. Okay.
No. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what this code is talking about. There is some sort of theme switching situation that maybe Next is automatically putting in, but might not. Oh, there's a theme script in here. What are you doing? Well, that's the same script that I just saw in there. All right, whatever. Yeah, there might be something in there that helps change it. Oh, actually, here's a dark theme right here. What do I do if I do that? What happens? Nothing, right? Nothing. Okay. Ooh, I got a badge. Thanks. Okay. Okay, very good. Yeah, I mean, especially since I see, like, you have, in here, you have style background and it's a dark background. And that didn't change when I did this. So how could I imagine that it would actually do anything? But yeah, there might be some... It could be interesting to have a light mode in here. I don't think it would take too much because you only have a couple of colors. It's not very colorful. So it could be something interesting as a feature if you wanted to. But yeah, in terms of scripting in here, I can't tell any particular dependencies that are in here. But I did, again, see this is one big SVG, and then these things are just clickable. There is a little bit of a accessibility thing that's in there, right? So your site, I could probably guess has some accessibility problems based on the way that it was built. Just from this, where like because these shards are SVGs and the click is on these groups of the SVGs, what ends up happening there is it's hard for a keyboard user to navigate to. So like if I was to try to go ahead and do that, let's see, I'm going to go click over here and then I'll tab, and now tab in here, tab. Yeah, so this just went right to DevTools. It didn't even try to go to your website.
Putting in some tab targeting for some keyboard navigation, I think, would be completely doable for the shards. If you just have it scroll through each and every individual shard.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I had to consider it an SVG, I could probably put some alt text so anyone with a screen reader could know what it is as well.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a couple of things, obviously, improvements in there for sure. That's something you have to pay attention to when you're building these sites, right? Is like, again, knowing your audience. It's very possible that not much of the audience needs those assistive technologies. It's totally possible, but it makes you a better, engineer, developer, builder to think of the larger amount of people that could be visiting your site, and to be thoughtful into, okay, well, what if a person who is navigating with this keyboard, how would they navigate it? I think is a really nice thing to consider, and heck, put on the Kanban board, right? And it's something to definitely pay attention to. But what other pages would you consider adding to the site?
It's a good question. I'm not sure what other pages I'd like to add. I think I might want to have entirely different themings where it's just different types of things that I like. Like I'd love to see some kind of like Nintendo 64 polygonal view instead of the shards. Have them be, geometric shapes instead, and have this look like an old uh, Nintendo 64 games UI. That'd be a lot of fun. That's how the personality as well. But I'm not sure. What would you like to see as another shard in here?
Oh, interesting. Well, I'm just thinking about my site. I'm thinking about other sites that I've seen and that kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, on my site, I have an experience page that talks about experience. So you have that too. I have the media page, and then I have a projects page. So I guess in your case, and then it's connect, right? So I have even less than you. Right now, because wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm absolutely 100% redesigning my site, like in the next year for sure. It's been like rattling around in my head. I have
Are you
shit to
keeping
do.
the iPod?
Say again?
You keeping the iPod on there?
Oh God, the iPod's gone. No, that's not. No, that's not coming back. No,
I like the iPod.
yeah, no, that was. I mean, look, a lot of people liked the yellow site. A lot. Justin liked the yellow site. Everybody, and actually, my wife, she's like, keep that site. I'm going to take that. I'm like, how are you going to take that? You don't have the same content. She's like, I don't care. I like that. I was like, all right. But yeah, there was definitely a good motif. But no, the that's going away. The idea behind that's going to be like an Art Deco Emerald City crushed velvet green with gold accents kind of look. Like I want it to be like almost like elegant. So that's the direction that I want to try to take for that thing. But that's going to be a lot of sitting down, getting past all of my projects that I have, because I have Undefined that's going to be coming out hopefully very soon. I've been working on some games for that, and then I'm also going to consider working on a workshop later this year. So both of those things are going to take a lot of time out of me. So working on some cute little side redesign, as much as I really enjoy that stuff, as people should know, because I redesign my site, God, every year, which is just, why do I do that to myself? I don't know. But I guess it keeps me fresh and active. Yeah, no, it's crazy. What is so? I know that you're not done with this, right? There's still more work to do. But what would be next? Not for this site, but for the next website. Like, what would be another site that maybe, or another maybe sister site? I mean, maybe there's a situation where, like, oh, I don't know. Well, I'm not even going to suggest it. What's your next project? What's the next thing that's on the docket for you?
I think after I made this, it made me think I never want to make another boring website again. I think making all these little shards are really fun, and I think I want to make some kind of website that brings people together that feels the same way. People who like something interesting, something different. Like you said, there used to be a lot in the Flash era that was very different, and that was very fun. And I think people yearn for that part of the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, I got nothing else on this. This is, again, a really good job on this. And definitely some things to pay attention to. I'm going to let the folks at home know, if you want to visit Matt's site, it is MATSRAMOS.com. Right? So MATSRAMOS.com. You can take a peek at it. Obviously, Matt's going to be working on it throughout the next couple of days and weeks to improve things, get the, remove the coming soons to really put the content in there, work on the Kanban board, and give him some ideas, right? If you have an idea about what to put, what Matt should do on this thing, absolutely share it. I'm sure he would love that. But yeah, I think we did a good job over here, right? So what's left? What's left to plug that you want people to know about?
Check out Cause of a Kind. Look at all the fun stuff we're doing over there. And if you want to find me, good luck.
I guess that's true. That's true. Oh my God. All right. Well, again, thank you so much, Matt, for being on the show. I really appreciate it. I love you sharing this with me and getting my feedback. Again, I think it's a really interesting take on a personal site. I think, again, it's unique and different enough that people are going to pay attention to it. And I really am interested in that take about, the mystery of Matt and being able to, if you really want to find this guy, like, you're going to have to do a little bit of work, and maybe that's exciting for people. So again, thank you for bringing this up, and this is great.
Thanks for having me, Donnie, and thank you, audience, for checking in.
Hell yeah. All right, super. Well, here we go. That's our show. Thank you so much for watching. Before you go, please help out this show right here by smashing that like and subscribe button to get notified the next time that we go live, which will be in a couple of weeks because, like I said earlier, I will be away. And feel free to continue the conversation on our official Design Systems Discord by visiting discord.ds.house. There it is on the bottom right there. Play nice in those comments, and I'll see you on the internet. Bye.